And here are the steps for implicit differentiation. We'll differentiate both sides of the equation with respect to x, treating y as a differentiable function of x. We'll collect the terms with dy dx on one side, and lastly we'll solve for dy dx. Let's look at the example. Let's find the derivative, and we'll use implicit differentiation for the function 4x squared y plus 9xy squared is equal to 2. So the first thing we'll do is take the derivative with respect to x for both sides of the equation. The next thing I'll do is on the left hand side, I'll distribute my derivative operator, and I'll also use the constant multiple rule. So on the left hand side we have 4 times the derivative with respect to x for x squared y plus 9 times the derivative with respect to x for xy squared, and the derivative for any constant is 0. Next we'll find the derivative for x squared y, so we'll use the product rule, and the product rule for derivative states that it's the first factor times the derivative of the second factor plus the second factor times the derivative of the first factor. So we have 4, which is the constant multiple. We have our first factor, which is x squared, times the derivative of our second factor, and the derivative of y with respect to x is dy dx, plus our second factor, which is y, times the derivative of the first factor, so the derivative with respect to x for x squared is 2x, plus, once again, 9 is our constant multiple, so that's in front of our derivative operator. It's the first factor, which is x, times the derivative of the second factor, so the derivative of y squared with respect to x is 2y dy dx, plus the second factor times the derivative of the first, and the derivative for x with respect to x is 1. And we keep that set equal to 0. Next I'll distribute 4, and we'll also distribute 9. So we have 4x squared dy dx plus 8xy plus 18xy dy dx plus 9y squared is equal to 0. Next we'll collect the dy dx terms on one side, and they're already on one side together, so we'll simply subtract 8xy and 9y squared from both sides. So we're left with 4x squared dy dx plus 18xy dy dx is equal to negative 8xy minus 9y squared. Lastly, we'll factor out the greatest common factor, which is dy dx. And we have 4x squared plus 18xy is equal to negative 8xy minus 9y squared. And our final step is we'll divide both sides by 4x squared plus 18xy. So we have the derivative of y with respect to x is negative 8xy minus 9y squared over 4x squared plus 18xy.